Okay, so for fabric, you want to make sure that you get a base value down first, just like most of the steps that we've been doing. And then we're going to work in shadows and highlights through subtractively with the eraser and additively more with the compressed charcoal stick, or you could try the vine charcoal as well. If you have more detail in your fabric, then like it's not a solid color, then that's something that you kind of have to develop and figure out. It's certainly something that I would take a look at with you and kind of develop a plan for. I have just a solid black shirt on, which can be tricky. I want to make sure that my value gets really dark, and when I'm blocking in with the compressed charcoal, I want to make sure that I am considering where the shadows and the highlights of the shirt fall, and how the folds kind of change direction. Okay, so as I'm blocking in with the compressed charcoal, I'm really thinking about how the collar of the shirt goes around the neck. I'm also looking at how the direction of the texture in the shirt changes, and I'm making sure that I'm using my charcoal stick on its tip where there's like wrinkles and folds that need to be darker. I'm blending it to make the fabric look smoother with a paper towel, and then reworking the shadow areas even more. To get really dark, rich values with the charcoal, it actually helps if you create layers by spraying fixative in between applications. I don't have fixative on hand right now, so I'm just going to kind of keep working the charcoal into the paper, and so making sure that it kind of like fills that tooth in and just kind of keep working it around. The charcoal pencil again can be used to add more detail and also kind of more depth to the shadows, and just going in there as well. The kneaded eraser can be used both for blending and also for pulling out highlights in the parts of the fabric that reflect more light because they're kind of bumped up. Okay, and then in the end, you want to be able to see that the wrinkles and folds are darker. You want to be able to see that there's some form in the fabric where the highlights are kind of worked out. Blending really works well for fabric unless it's like a textured fabric with the charcoal. Charcoal really is kind of a nice medium to work with fabric in. So certainly if you have detail and a pattern in your shirt, that's something that you'd have to kind of consider how you might go about that in your piece. And so that's something that I would be able to give you more feedback on one-on-one. But this is kind of the basics of drawing fabric with charcoal.